Coming to you on this Father's Day with a special unboxing. Actually, it's not technically an unboxing since the box I'm going to show you has been unboxed, reboxed, probably boxed again. But I want to share with you what was in this box when I most recently became the latest owner of it. Every week in East Dundee, we have a flea market, farmer's market, kind of a community festival on Saturday mornings, at least from May through October in the good weather months here in Northern Illinois, called the Depot Market. And a couple of weeks ago at the Depot Market, I purchased the cigar box, which is, kind of in rough shape. You'll see in a moment. It's kind of coming apart. More in just a few minutes why it was cool for me to buy this cigar box alone. I'll share some memories with you. But I also want to open the cigar box and share with you what's inside. So stay tuned. I mentioned that it's cool that what I bought came in a cigar box, and especially getting close to Father's Day when I made the purchase, and today is Father's Day, it made me think of my dad. Now, my dad wasn't this huge cigar smoker. In fact, he stopped smoking later in life for health reasons, and when he did smoke cigars, it was rarely. He was more of a pipe smoker. But especially when my dad was younger and his brothers were still alive, they've all passed now, and they would have fishing trips or they would get together to play cards. The cigars would usually be present, the cigars would come out, and it would be a part of the ritual. I also remember Dad taking me to, when we lived in Marion, Ohio, which is where I was born, I remember Dad taking me to a tobacco shop downtown in Marion, Ohio, and it was just cool to, I was probably 3-4 years old at the time, and it was just cool to hang out with my dad. And I remember, the glass cases filled with cigars and pipe tobacco, and I think there was a candy selection, which maybe I came away with a piece or two out of that every once in a while. But I remember the smells, and I just remember the feeling of being there with my dad. And every time I see a cigar box, one of the old cigar boxes, I can't help thinking about my dad and those weekend mornings, weekend early afternoons when he would let me go with him to the cigar store, to the tobacco store in Marion, Ohio. So just kind of a cool feeling. And I can still smell the smells. It's just kind of a neat thing to think about. But anyway, it was what's in the cigar box that I also became excited about, and let me share that with you right now. Here we are for the reboxing, unreboxing, deboxing, whatever this might be, and I guess we better do it before this box completely falls apart. Still pretty cool though. I love these old time. Now this one's cardboard, but the old time cigar boxes that were made of heavy cardboard or wood, those are very cool. And one thing I haven't done yet is look into what Banker's Choice cigars were all about. If I find out anything about Banker's Choice cigars, I'll either add a little snippet to this video or I'll put information in the comments below or in the description below. So let's flip this box open. You can see here it's kind of rough shape, and you can probably see by looking in here that it's just filled with a lot of old-time tackle. So let's take a look and see what we have here. This is an old-time reel, open reel. Let's see if I can disconnect the lure from that. Maybe easier said than done. It's tangled up a little bit here, and eventually I'll get all this out of here and clean it up. Here we go. This is really heavy metal. There is a patent pending mark on there. There's this really cool design on there. I don't know if you can see that or not in the metal, but I don't necessarily see a brand on here. What's it say over here? Skill cast. It's a Fluger. It's a Fluger skill cast. Trademark number 1953, made in the USA. So that's kind of a neat piece. And actually it's, it looks like it's in pretty good condition. That line on there, I think we would need to replace the line, but boy, it's got a smooth action on it and kind of a cool item, whether I display that or clean it up or, do I take it out for one last field trip? I don't know, but it's just a really neat, and it's in great shape. Even though this is in kind of a dilapidated cigar box, somebody really kept this reel nice and probably used it quite a bit up to a certain point. So there's a Fluger metal open reel. Very cool. So let's get into some of the lures here. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to identify what's what on these lures as far as brand names. Maybe some of you that know a lot more about older lures than I do can help out in the comments. This is kind of neat. It looks like a frog. I'm going to assume it's topwater. Definitely not weedless, but it's got a great shape here. You see these kind of the metal wings back here. I love the artwork, and I love just in general artwork on these older reels. This feels like it's plastic, doesn't feel like it's wood, but still just a great look, great action on this frog. Love it. Might have to see what it looks like in the water, or I just might put it right on a display shelf. Haven't decided yet. This one is interesting. It's and this one's like again a really hard plastic. Not sure. It looks like it's maybe it's a Hedden, if I'm saying that right, or it might say Heaton. Looks like more maybe a Hedden, or maybe it might be a Hedden rule, Heddon, which I know is a lure company, and it's supposed to have maybe this weedless action. We've come a long way with weedless, I think, when you look at what the way weedless lures are made now. But again, I love the colors. It's kind of translucent. You can see light through it. Very cool. I don't know what that action would do if it was in the water, but you know, at least at the time they made this lure, maybe that was thought to attract fish. It's got the lip on it, and it's got the leader here. I'm sure that gave some action also. But again, I love the whole idea that this was an attempt at a weedless lure, and I'm sure it caught a lot of fish in its day. Love these old lures with the props on them. Do some churning, some action. Again, maybe a top water, and this one is, I believe, wooden. Made out of wood, and it has some writing here on the bottom. I'll be darned if I can make it out. Special, the word special. If I can decipher any other words in this, I'll put it in the description below. You see some cracking there, and again, the paint finish is not as nice on this one as the other two lures, but just kind of a great shape, fun design. I love just kind of the designs of these old lures. What people were thinking, just coming up with different ways to try to catch fish. This one's got some really cool colors. Kind of a bug. Look at the paint. I mean, it's got the red, like, I guess probably to simulate blood on the lips, and the stripes on the back. And again, some kind of wing action coming out here with a couple of little tails to create some action. And I know that my descriptions aren't probably accurate to what these things really are, but I'm not the expert angler or the expert antique lure person. But just look at that coming head on at you. That's awesome. I love the eyes. The paint jobs are just so cool alone, and kind of the little spoon front here to churn up water, create some action and interest for the fish they were trying to catch. Very nice. Very cool. Kind of a fly, or a fly-like lure with one big treble hook and a couple of leaders to spin up some action on this. This one is metal on the front, and again, the paint's a little bit distressed, but I think the feathering is this is some kind of, you know, whether it's squirrel tail or whatever it is, this is actual hair. It's in pretty good shape for as many times as I'm sure it's been fished and as old as it is. So very cool. Again, just another great, I love the eyes. I mean, come on, look at the eye design on this lure. And this one also feels like a wood lure. It is a Hedden. So I'm going to guess that the other one was too, and I'm probably saying that wrong. Heddon, whatever it is, Heddon. I mean, just look at the detail on this thing, and kind of the marks, the gill marks here, whatever those are supposed to be. Just so awesome. But I love this thing coming at you, the way it looks. The eyes, great detail. You know, the one thing I like about going through an old box of lures like these is just thinking about the stories that they tell. I mean, all the days out on the lake, out by the river, in a boat or along the shore, the fish they caught, the good times shared, you know, with fathers and sons, with brothers, with friends. Just, again, you know, when you think about telling stories, I mean, there's so much wrapped up, memories in old lures. And you know, if they're not your lures and you find them in a cigar box, at a weekend sale, just what your imagination can take you and what it might be like. And my dad had a lot of these kinds of lures. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of them left, but he had a lot of them. My uncles actually ran a tackle store in Marion, Ohio in the early 60s called the Idle Hour. And I remember looking at lures like these in the tackle store. So just great memories and great stories that these bring back. And if you have any old lures like this, or handed down by fathers or grandfathers, again, the stories that are in those are just incredible. That's kind of the highlight of the box. There are some bobbers in there, some clear bobbers, which are in kind of rough shape. I haven't really tried to clean them up yet, but I think they're just going to kind of be in rough shape. There are some sinkers, rubber core sinkers, and by the Water Gremlin Company. Anybody ever heard of the Water Gremlin Company from Whiteberry Lake, Minnesota? Anybody ever fished Whiteberry Lake, Minnesota? Sounds like a great place to fish. The only practical sinker on monofilament line. No biting, no line damage, stays where you put it. Well, what else could you ask for, right? There's a few packages of those, which are kind of interesting. And this looks like it is the manual for the reel, Skillcast fishing reel. So I didn't notice this the first time I went in there, but it has the parts. This is very cool, and this makes, to me, this much more interesting to have. So very cool. Pfluger's Skillcast fishing reel. Awesome. I really like this, and if I find a way to display this, I'll definitely find a way to display the manual with the reel. Neat. Again, another kind of sketchy clear bobber. There is, take it from Kurt Gowdy, Barkley has it all. Anybody remember Kurt Gowdy? He was an outdoorsman and an announcer in the 60s, probably the 50s too. There's a line tying guide in here. And I remember with my dad watching a lot of Kurt Gowdy on TV. So this is all him speaking for Berkeley on behalf of Berkeley. Very neat. Another bobber, and I think that is about it. We have an empty box now. So to me, this is very cool, and I just want to take an opportunity, as my box falls apart, to show you what you can find when you're out at a flea market or a garage sale. That again, just can be very interesting to have, whether you collect them, whether you want to try to restore them, whether you want to pass them on to somebody else who may appreciate them more. I had no idea, and I think I paid $5 for this whole box. Just full of stories, full of memories, and full of some pretty cool items like this reel. And again, I love the paint jobs on those lures. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video today. And check out what I found in the old cigar box full of antique lures and reels and tackle. If you have any information about old lures and old tackle, let me know in the comments. I'd love to learn more. I'm always trying to figure out just what it is that I found. And on days like today, every day, but especially days like Father's Day, I miss having my dad around to ask, hey Dad, what was that? Did you have one of those? And let's take a look in your tackle box. So maybe this is my way of reliving those memories with my dad and getting closer to him, even though he's been gone now for quite a few years. Wishing you and your fathers and your families the best times on the water. Hope that you continue to make great stories with your fishing adventures, and I'll see you again real soon.